जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद अभयचरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की, नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada की जय. Hare Krishna. Welcome to morning Bhagavatam class, and today we are reciting the verse from Canto 4, Chapter 2 and Text 19. I am very happy to be back after 4 weeks of break, and Shivan Prabhu was covering in my absence. Thanks to Shivan Prabhu for covering my absence. So today we are reciting the verse from Chapter 2, Canto 4, Chapter 2, Text 19. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat with me. Text 19. Nishadhyamana sasadya mukyair daksho giritraya visrujya sapam tasmad vinikramaya vivriddha manyur Jagama Kauravya Nijam Niketanam Nishidhyamana Sada Sa Sadasya Mukyair Daksho Giritraya Visrujya Sapam Tasmad Vinishkramaya Vivriddha Manyur Jagama Kauravya Nijam Niketanam Nishidhyamana Sasadasya Mukyair Daksho Giritraya Visrujya Sapam Tasmad Vinishkramaya Vivriddha Manyur Jagama Kauravya Nijam Niketanam. Prabhuji. Nishriddhamanaya sasacha mukher Daksho Giritraya Visrujya Sapam Smat Vividha Manyur Jagaya Kauravya Nijam Niketanam Nishidhyamana Sasadya Mukher Daksho Giritraya Visrujya Shapam तस्माद् विनिष्क्रमाय विवृद्धमान्युर् जगाम कौरव्य निजं निकेतनम् निषेध्यमाना ससदस्य मुख्यैर् तक्षो गिरित्राय विसृज्य शापम् तस्माद् विनिष्क्रमाय विवृद्धमान्युर् जगाम कौरव्य निजं निकेतनम्. माताजी निषेध्यमाना ससदस्य मुख्यैर् दक्षो गिरित्राय विसृज्य शापम् तस्माद् विनिष्क्रमाय विवृद्धमान्युर् जगाम कौरव्य निजं निकेतनम्. निषेध्यमाना ससदस्य मुख्यैर् दक्षो गिरित्राय विसृज्य शापम् तस्माद् विनिष्क्रमाय विवृद्धमान्युर् जगाम कौरव्य निजं निकेतनम्. निषेध्यमाना ससदस्य मुख्यैर् दक्षो गिरित्राय विसृज्य शापम् तस्माद् विनिष्क्रमाय विवृद्धमान्युर् जगाम कौरव्य निजं निकेतनम्. Word to word meaning. Nisijyamana, being requested not to. Sa, he Daksha. Sadasya Mukhya, by the members of sacrifice. Daksha, Giritraya, to Shiva. Visrijya, giving. Shapam, a curse. Tasmat, from that place. Vinishkramaya, going out. Vivriddhamanya, being exceedingly angry. Jagama, went. Kauravya, O Vidura, Nijam, to his own. Niketanam, home. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation, please repeat with me. Maitreya continued. My dear Vidura, in spite of the requests of all the members of the sacrificial assembly, Daksha, in great anger, cursed Lord Shiva and then left the assembly and went back to his home. Purport, please listen. Anger is so detrimental that even a great personality like Daksha, out of anger, left the arena where Brahma was presiding and all the great sages and pious and saintly persons were assembled. All of them requested him not to leave, but infuriated, he left, thinking that the auspicious place was not fit for him. Puffed up by his exalted position, he thought that no one was greater than he is in an argument. It appears that all the members of the assembly, including the Lord Brahma, requested him not to be angry and leave their company. But in spite of all these requests, he left. That is the effect of cruel anger. In Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is advised that one who desires to make a tangible advancement in spiritual consciousness must avoid three things: lust, anger, and the mode of passion. Actually, we can see that the lust and anger and passion make a man crazy, even though he be a great as Daksha. The very name Daksha suggests that he was expert in all material activities, but still, because of his aversion towards such a saintly personality as Shiva, he was attacked by these three enemies: anger, lust, and passion. Lord Chaitanya therefore advised that one be very careful not to offend Vaishnava. He compared offense towards Vaishnava to a mad elephant, as a mad elephant can do anything horrible. So even a person offends a Vaishnava, he can perform any abominable action. Let's do Bangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Uvancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Runda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the pastime of Daksha cursing Lord Shiva. So far we have been listening the conversation, the various previous verses saying that the Daksha entered into this. He was performing a big sacrifice, and he entered the fire sacrifice arena. When he entered into that fire sacrifice area, all the great sages, everybody stood up from their seat and they offered respect. Since Brahma is the father and the elder, he was sitting. But Daksha noticed that Lord Shiva was also not standing up. So Lord Shiva was not standing up. Then Daksha noticed this and he felt that, okay, the Shiva, he thought like Shiva is his son-in-law and he is expecting that the Shiva should respect the Daksha and pay obeisances. Some kind of respect he was expecting from Lord Shiva. But we have been listening from all the previous speakers how Lord Shiva is elevated. We all know the position of Lord Shiva. Though on the material platform, he may be the son-in-law of Daksha, but he is the Vaishnavanam Yadashambho, is the topmost Vaishnava. And he was always, and he is one of the Gunavataras of Krishna, Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada always explains that Lord Shiva and Krishna relation. If the Supreme Lord is of milk, yogurt, Lord Shiva is like a yogurt. The transformation of milk is yogurt, right? So that is the difference Prabhupada always highlights in purport, right? The difference between Shiva and Supreme Lord. And he always chants Ram, Lord Ram, holy name of the Lord. He always constantly chanting. And he lives in the crematorium. That shows that the renunciation is how important in our life. So these are the various aspects, many other qualities we heard in the previous lectures. So these are some of the qualities of Lord Shiva. This highlights what is his position. Though materially he may look like a son-in-law of Daksha, Prajapati, but he is not just a son-in-law, he is far more beyond than just the material qualification. And other than one more thing is, why Lord Shiva was not standing and paying the respect, he was deeply absorbed in the meditation of Supreme Lord. That is one thing. In that meditation, he did not notice anything, and that is another. So, in all these circumstances, so the Shiva's position is very great, and he is not an ordinary person. And he was, and why, if the Daksha is expecting that he has to stand up and pay respect, but why? But at that time, he was deeply involved in the meditation. He was completely absorbed in the meditation. So these are the many reasons we understood why Shiva was not responding to Daksha. Now, in today's verse, if you see, the translation is in spite of the request of all the members of the sacrificial assembly, Daksha in great anger cursed Lord Shiva and left the assembly and went back to his home. So, finally, we have been listening in the previous verses how the Daksha was criticizing Lord Shiva. There are various arguments he put forward criticizing the Lord Shiva, and finally he got anger, and then in that angry he cursed Lord Shiva and left that place and went back to home. So in the purport also, if you see, Prabhupada was highlighting that reasons for this. So far we understood the Shiva's position. In this verse we are trying to highlight what is causing Daksha to get this anger, this kind of anger. So in the purport it was mentioned, Prabhupada, three things mentioned: lust, anger, and the passion. It's the lust and anger are the qualities of a person who is in the mode of passion. So these lust and anger are the main qualities which overtaking the Daksha's actual real qualities. Because of that, he is not able to control, and finally he cursed Lord Shiva. And so this lust and anger is very important in our day-to-day life also. We also get anger, and we try to offend many Vaishnavas or sometimes other people. We always try, right? So it is very important to understand the reason for this Daksha's anger, so that we can also understand how we can control this anger. So if you see that the lust and anger, the main reasons for lust, anger, and passion, if you try to understand, when we can go back to Bhagavad Gita, some of the verses, it was very clearly mentioned. And if you see the Bhagavad Gita, for many devotees, it's like a book which helps them to progress in their devotion. But the Bhagavad Gita is not just only for devotees. And many people refer it as a book of yoga. It specifies the Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga, everything. It specifies all these paths will help you to come closer to the God. But apart from that, there are many people around the world who are not yogis, who are not devotees. They will be referring Bhagavad Gita. Right? The reason is Bhagavad Gita is providing many other valuable aspects of life. Like one of the aspects, why I am referring is, see, if you see one of the verse, yad yad acharati shreshtas tattat evataro jana sayad pramanam kurte lokasad anuvartate. This is a verse from 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What it specifies, whatever a great man performs, Krishna is saying, common men will follow. This is like one of the management principle. If the leader has to stay in the front and exhibit, follow, and then his followers will, his subordinates can follow. Similarly, we have many verses to understand the human psychology. In the same context, the Bhagavad Gita also specifies the verses specific to Krishna, specifying why people will get anger. And when you get anger, what will be the consequences? This is what in the Bhagavad Gita, it was mentioned in multiple places. So one of the verse I am taking today is 2.62. Chapter 2, text 62. Jayate vishyat punsa, sangasteshu pajayate, sangat sanjayate kama, kama krodho bijayate. So the translation says, while contemplating the object of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, a lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. So these are the consequences, how the anger is coming. The first thing is, while contemplating the object of senses. So in a previous canto, when we were doing the Sankhya philosophy, we studied many various elements which are part of the material creation, right? So there will be senses, sense objects. The difference between the senses means we have eyes, ear, tongue, nose. All right. So these are all senses. If you see the what are the sense objects, like if you are eyes, you will be seeing a form, and sense nose is there. Nose is a sense. Sense object is smell, and skin is there. Skin is a sense. Sense object is touch, and similarly tongue is a taste. Like that, we have 5 senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. These are the 5 senses. And the sense objects means smell is with the nose, ear, sound, and the touch, the skin, and the taste, the tongue, eye, form. These are the senses and sense object. That is the difference. Senses are the actual parts of the body which interact with the sense objects and perform various activities. So these are the various senses. So the translation says, while contemplating the object of senses, a person develops attachment, and then from the attachment, lust develops, and from the lust, anger arises. Now let's see one example that will be easy to understand. Let's say, suppose a devotee is coming to the temple on a Sunday, where so many devotees will be there in the temple, and he sees one devotee, but he did not respond to, because that devotee might be busy in something. He did not respond. He say Hare Krishna. Then okay, he thought, okay, this person regularly greets me, but today he did not respond. Then he thought, okay, after some time he sees again, but he was busy with many other activities. He did not respond. Then you saw the person, that is, you saw a form of the person that is like sense object, and you are seeing through your eyes. So that registered in your mind. Then you keep on contemplating. Okay, wherever you go, you see him and you try to remember, okay, this person did not respond to Hare Krishna. Did not. Why he did not? Then the contemplation continues. Suppose if you are a normal person, after some time you will forget. But if you are not forgetting, means you are developing attachment to this action. Right? You saw the person, he did not respond. Then you keep on remembering, okay, last time also on Janmashtami he saw me, but he didn't respond to me, Hare Krishna. On the last Sunday he saw me and he did not respond to me, Hare Krishna. So what is happening? First you contemplated, then you started developing attachment to that action. Then you keep on doing that, and you will not stop. Why? When you're thinking like that, your mind is feeling happy. Okay, you try to find faults in the previous actions, whatever he did. Some negative things you try to derive. Why you are doing? Your mind is encouraging you to think like that. So your mind is pleasing because of those thoughts. The lust is nothing but pleasing your senses. Right? So in this case, when you are thinking again and again, means your mind is feeling happy. That's why it is fueling to think more and more. This is a lust. And finally, after so much time, then finally you see him and you will get anger. You will go and there, either you will go to some other devotee and tell that, okay, this person is doing like this. Or finally, you directly go to him and you shout at him, why are you not seeing at me? Or something, you keep it something in your mind and you will express anger. So this is how the anger generates. What is first you did? Just you saw the action, the person, he did not respond to you. Then you started thinking about that. Wherever you go, you see him and you started remembering. Then your mind will start developing attachment to that action you saw and he did not respond. Then you keep on remembering all his previous actions, and that way you are what that action is, it will pleasing your mind, and your mind will keep on encouraging you to think like that. And then finally you are not able to bear that disappointment, and then you will be expressed in a form of anger, and you will shout at him or do something else. So same thing we can apply in this pastime, Daksha. Daksha also did the same thing. So while what is the sense object here? He saw Lord Shiva did not stand. He stood up. When the Daksha entered into the fire sacrificial arena, right? So he did not respond. So that action registered. Then he stated, keep on contemplating on those actions. So he started keep on contemplating the option. Then in that, when he's contemplating, he started remembering. Like that's what he was speaking. If you remember the previous verses, Daksha was saying that. I will just revise those points which Daksha told towards Lord Shiva. Daksha saw the Lord Shiva is sitting and not showing any respect. Then he started speaking. This is what Daksha speaking. I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy. This is what Lord the Daksha was speaking. Because Lord Shiva did not stood up, so he was saying that, I speak about manners of gentle person. So he's saying that how a gentle person should behave. And I do not, this I am speaking not because of ignorance or envy. And he was saying, Daksha keep on telling the same thing. Shiva has spoiled the name of and fame of a governance of universe. And he has polluted the path of gentle manners. Because he is shameless, he does not know how to act. This is what Daksha was saying. So, he is a demigod, Shiva, right? So, he is saying that he does not know how a demigod should behave. And he polluted the manners, and he is saying that finally, he does not know how to act, behave. So, this is what, so why, so now this is like a, after seeing that action, repeatedly contemplating, then he started scolding him. And next he said, he has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and Brahmanas. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri and has pretended to be just like an honest person. So here Daksha was saying that he married my daughter, but he is behaving like a honest person. In the previous verses he said, okay, he doesn't know how to act, and he said he doesn't know how to behave how to act as a demigod. And in this verse he is saying that he is just pretending like a honest person. And he is saying that he is not stopping there, means he developed attachment to that act, and he keep on finding faults in the Lord Shiva. Then he says, his eyes like a monkey's, yet he has married my daughter whose eyes are just like those of deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. So this is what he was saying. Even his eyes are like monkey's eyes. And he was so like this he was keep on. So why he is not able to stop? Because he developed that attachment to that incident, and from that attachment his mind is motivating him to keep thinking like this. Is where the lust coming into the picture. Lust means it's pleasing the senses, and this because of the mind is pleasing because of those acts, so he keep on finding faults in Lord Shiva. He lives in filthy places like crematorium, and his companions are the ghosts and demons. This is what he was saying, Lord Daksha was saying to Lord Shiva. And only name is Shiva, or auspicious. Actually, he is the most mad and inauspicious creature. This is how he is criticizing the Lord Shiva. So all these words are coming because of he developed that lust, attachment to lust. These all things happening because if he is a good person, by seeing the act, he will find some reason and he will stop. But he is not stopping there. He is keeping on shouting all the various acts which are highlighting the finding faults on Shiva's behavior. Right? When you get these things means you are fully entangled in that action. You are fully absorbed in that action, and that action is generating these kind of thoughts. And the demigods are then finally what the Daksha, seeing the Lord Shiva sitting as if against him, washed his hands, mouth, and cursed him in the following words. Then he started, finally he was angry, he became more anger, and then then he started cursing. Like he washed his hands and mouth, then finally he cursed Lord Shiva. What is that curse? The demigods are eligible to share in the oblations of the sacrifice. But Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all the demigods, should not have a share. So he should not get any benefit from the fire sacrifice. That is the curse. So this is what we can apply. So first he saw the action, he started contemplating, and then from the contemplation he started keep on attached to this action, and he developed that lust, and in that lust he started finding more and more faults, and finally he got anger, and with that anger he cursed the Lord Shiva. This is how using this verse we can understand the reason why this Bhagavad Gita verse helps us to deeply analyze the act of Lord Daksha, how he is getting the anger. We can see many such examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Parikshit Maharaj case, like the Shringi, the son of Shamik Rishi, the small Brahman boy. And Brahman means he should have all the controls of the senses, right? But what happened? When Parikshit Maharaj put the dead snake on the neck of the Shamik Rishi, then this Shringi got anger and he cursed Lord Parikshit Maharaj to die in 7 days. So this is what when we can see in the case of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa past time, where Durvasa Muni cursed, I think he sent a demon to kill Ambarish, but again Lord sent Sudarshan Chakra, and then we know all the past. So these various cases we can see, but here Lord Shiva was very silent, he was not responding. Same way in the Parikshit Maharaj past time also, they are great devotees, they know how to respond, how to behave, right, in appropriately, right. So they are not responding. Even Parikshit Maharaj was the ability to counter the curse, but he did not do that counter act, because he knows that this is the will of Lord, I have to accept and proceed. Like that the devotees feel. But whereas these people, like those who are, because of their position, their society status in the society, they will get proud, they think that they are the controllers. And so when we analyze these things, the root cause of these things is like the lust and anger. Again, this is the lust and anger are the immediate causes. That because of that the Daksha is behaving. But what is the reason for this lust and anger? How this is coming? That also we need to understand to cut this anger and the lust. So if you see the root cause, if you try to, previously we mentioned the senses and sense objects, right? In the senses we have the different hierarchy. Like first, senses are we have a body. It's made up of matter, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And these are the dull matter. Whenever the soul is there, the matter is having the value. Otherwise it does not have any value. Right? So that is a matter. And the senses are there. Above the matter, the senses comes. The senses are through which the body interacts with the external world. And the sense, above the senses, mind comes. How it means? Mind gave the inputs to senses. Based on the inputs received from mind, our all senses, eyes, tongue, nose, everything will act. But how the mind is giving the instructions to senses? That is coming through intelligence. The intelligence is the one that gives the inputs to mind. Mind gives the inputs to senses. If the mind gives the inputs to read Bhagavatam, then how that mind is getting the instruction? From the intelligence. So if the intelligence is strong enough, if the spiritualized, you will get all the thoughts specific to spiritual devotion, and then your senses will follow. But if the same intelligence is conditioned, okay, above the intelligence, soul is there. The soul is the topmost, above the first soul, below that intelligence, then mind, then senses. This is how the acts will happen. Now if the soul is realized, what it means? The soul knows that I am the part and parcel of Krishna, my aim is to serve Krishna, perform devotional service. That will have. So in that context, with that consciousness, intelligence will give all proper guidance to mind, and with that mind, we take the senses, will take the inputs and perform various actions. But if the soul is conditioned, what will happen? Soul is conditioned means that you are not thinking that you are the soul. Then you think that you are the body. When you feel that you are this body, then you think that, okay, I am the proprietor of this. If you are living in a house, you feel, okay, this is my house. I am the controller of this house. I am the enjoyer of the house. So everything I will come. So that false ego is the one causing the root cause. So why this lust and anger, the passionate nature develops? Because of this false ego. The false ego direct the intelligence that, okay, everything, when the intelligence, we have the false ego nature, what will happen? Everything I have to enjoy, I have to control, I have to perform so and so things, right? That I related actions will come to intelligence. Intelligence also will feel that, okay, you are thinking as a body, so I have to do the act so that it will please my senses. So that same intelligence will give inputs to mind. Mind will do the actions according to the false ego. So this is how it connects: false ego, intelligence, mind and senses. If the intelligence is thinking it as a body, then same bodily instructions will come to my intelligence, mind will give them. So this is how it works. So the main root cause for this lust and anger is you are thinking that you are the body, not the soul. That is the false ego is causing this this kind of behavior exhibited by the Daksha. Not only Daksha, everyone in this material world, whoever is getting the angry or any other material things, because of the false ego is coming. Because of the false ego, you are thinking that this is I am the enjoyer and I have to do everything to please my enjoyment, to fulfill my enjoyment. So this way, this false ego causing lust and anger. But what is the consequence of this anger? What is happening? In this case of, if you take this example of Daksha, what is happening? He is offending a great Vaishnava and leading to Vaishnava aparad. That is a very important, very serious act. Vaishnava aparad is very, very serious act. So because of this false ego causing so many additional qualities, instigating many other additional material qualities, and that is causing Vaishnava aparad. There are various lectures we can hear from Vaishnavas. See, any offense you do, you can overcome by doing their devotional service. But when you do Vaishnava aparad, it's very, very serious. You will not be able to progress in your devotion. I'm reading some, what is aparada means? Apa means against, Radha means devotion. So, act against devotion or act which is stopping devotion, that is aparad. So, when you do aparada means you deliberately try to hurt someone or create some disturbance to other person with the intent to feel you are the great, you are superior than him, or you want to prove that I am greater than him. With that motive, you perform any act and disturb other devotees or the person. So that is aparada. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying in Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Kanda. So he says, those who worship me directly but neglect my servants and devotees are the most abominable rascals. By doing so, they cut my body into pieces. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying about Vaishnava aparad. Their worship is like burning coals on my body. If anyone criticizes and offends my devotee, then my name, which fulfills all the desires, will destroy him. So if we take Krishna's name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu name, which in ideal normal sense, it will take us close to Krishna. But in this case, even if you chant Krishna's name, holy name, if you are offending devotees, then it will destroy him. Rather than taking you close to Lord, it will destroy you completely. Thus I will show him my compassion. Every living being is my servant. Therefore, I cannot tolerate any kind of violence against them. I will destroy anyone who tries to offend my servants. Give up the offensive attitude and criticism of the Vaishnavas and chant the holy name of the Lord Krishna. Anyone who does this, I will certainly grant liberation. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly saying that offending the Vaishnava is a big, big sin. You will not be able to progress in the bhakti path. And rather, he said, Chaitanya will destroy him. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly saying that he will destroy the person who is offending Vaishnava. Chaitanya Bhagavata further wants that even one worships the Lord for millions of lifetimes, but continue to offend the devotees, he cannot earn the mercy of the Lord. So even if you, millions of times you take birth, you are doing nice devotion, but at the same time you are offending Vaishnava, then you will be keep on entangling repeated birth and death. But if you, in normal sense, when you do birth, bhakti, you will go back to Godhead. But in this case, you will keep on taking birth and death, or you may be going to the lowest species of animals type body. So this is how this is one thing. And the next, why we should, the importance of devotees, right? In this, the Vaishnava Aparada means offending a devotee. But instead of offending, if we associate with the devotees, what will happen? When we serve devotee, when we nicely take care of devotees, what will happen? When the devotee is satisfied, Krishna will be happy. When Krishna is happy, we can receive his mercy. Not only that, even if the devotee is satisfied, devotee gives blessings. And with that blessings, we will be able to progress in our bhakti. Like I remember in Prabhupada's childhood times, Gaurav Mohan Dey, Prabhupada's father, he used to invite many Vaishnavas, Brahmanas to the house, and he used to feed nice prasadam. And when they are leaving, he used to ask them to bless Abhay Charan, Prabhupada, right? So that is the importance of blessings from the devotees. So instead of, if we offend him, if we offend Vaishnavas, we will not be able to progress in bhakti. But if we nicely take care of the devotees, if we take their blessings, we will quickly progress in our bhakti. So these are the various things specific to the Vaishnava Aparada. Now the important thing, how to get out of this problem, the false ego, anger and lust. How can we overcome this? So we will not go in detail. There are separate many lectures on anger management and many other things based on the Bhagavad Gita. But here I take only two small things which we can apply in our life and overcome these difficulties. So one is previously mentioned, like intelligence is the key thing. Intelligence drives everything. If intelligence is pure, you will get devotional thoughts and your actions will be devotion. But if intelligence is corrupted, polluted, your mind will be polluted and your actions will be polluted, right? The key thing is strengthen your intelligence. Strengthen your intelligence with the spiritual knowledge. You should develop the spiritual intelligence. How you will get spiritual intelligence? Like you all are attending and listening Bhagavatam. This is one act, daily listening, spiritual knowledge, reading the lectures from Srila Prabhupada, Vaishnavas, spiritual master or senior devotees. We have to regularly hear this. When you hear these lectures, you will understand the importance. Then in the lecture, when you are listening the lectures, there you will have many pastimes where many devotees followed the path and ultimately got the benefit. When you see the real pastimes from the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, everything, then that will you will get conviction. It develops your conviction, your faith. Then you start following that. That's how the spiritual intelligence develops. Not only that, you read the Prabhupada books every day. It's not in Bhagavatam, it said, ahetaki apratiyata, right? That's what in Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the verses. Apratiyata means uninterrupted. Not that once in a month you read, or once in fortnight you do, right? You need to do regularly. When you do regularly, you will be in touch with, then your knowledge will be, intelligence will be strengthened. When intelligence is purified, then you start giving your intelligence is thinking about Krishna, Krishna's service, Krishna's pastimes, right? When your mind intelligence is like that, then your mind also will get in the same direction, your mind will receive the inputs. When your mind is getting the spiritual instructions, obviously, all your acts with the senses will be spiritual. This is how. So you have to strengthening the intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is one of the important thing. And another verse which another option is to overcome this false ego and the lust and anger is one more verse from the Bhagavad Gita. It is 2nd chapter. Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina raso vajjam rasopyasa param dushtva nivartate. Param dushtva means far higher experience. So the translation says, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So this translation, if in layman terms, how we can explain is, by experiencing higher taste, when you experience higher taste, your taste towards lower acts will be diminished. This is so. What is the higher taste? So when you practice developing the higher taste, then you lose taste towards the lower acts. Right? Example, again we can understand this example. Suppose you started coming to a devotee temple every Sunday feast. When you come to the Sunday, first time you come and you get a nice prasadam, nice darshan, and you are very happy. And that happiness drives you to come next Sunday as well. Right? But in normal sense, when the people, what the Sunday generally normal materialistic people does, they go to movies, they do parties, everything, right? So we also do devotional way parties, but the people go to the sense of material enjoyment point of view, they go to parties, they go to movies, so many things they do. But instead of you spending time on that, you are coming to the temple, coming and experiencing the happiness. This taste, this coming to the temple, seeing the Lord, taking the prasadam is a higher experience, higher taste compared to the watching movie, going to a party, right? Why it is happening? When you develop, then you keep coming every Sunday. And what is happening? Your taste is developing, right? You are getting the good pleasure when you coming to the temple, when you see the Lord, when you take the prasadam, then going to the movies. The going to the movie, in this case, we can treat it as a lower act, whereas coming to the temple is a higher. So that happiness you are deriving, with that happiness you are coming and again and again and again. So when you develop the taste towards higher one, you lose taste towards lower one. Again, example, one more I can take the real example. We remember last week also, in a few classes, Ghanshyam Prabhu was also glorifying Prem Sagar Prabhu. If you remember Prem Sagar Prabhu, he used to attend Mangalarti every day. Not even Janmashtami time, many devotees stay late up to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. But from Prem Sagar Prabhu, that's what Ghanshyam Prabhu was glorifying in his lectures. And so Prem Sagar Prabhu used to, even after attending the Janmashtami festival midnight, he used to come to the Mangalarti. Right? Now, you can see, compare this act. Means he is deriving the happiness attending Mangalarti without miss. That is the pleasure he is getting compared to sleeping for long hours. It doesn't mean that everyone has to follow that, but it is he got that ability by mercy of Krishna. He is able to do that. So when you develop the taste, higher taste, you lose interest on lower things. So he's sacrificing the sleep. He's not feeling much tasteful if you sleep for longer hours. That's why he's able to wake up and come to the Mangalarti. Not only that, we can take many examples. Ekadashi. Many people don't follow Ekadashi. They eat many other stuff, like they go to restaurants, they eat many other grain food, non-grain. On Ekadashi we should have non-grains or the fasting. But people go and eat many things. Compared to them, what we are doing, either we fast and without taking grains, or some people, I can see still some people in our congregation, they do Nirjala every Ekadashi. Right? So, when you see the act, going to the restaurant and eating prasadam, or going to the restaurant or having a nice prasadam, the person who is doing the Nirjala, when you see that, is getting more pleasure doing that than eating prasadam or eating grain food, right? So this is how, when you develop the higher taste, higher acts, then that pleasure you get, when you compare to that, when you compare with the low acts which you are watching movies or eating prasadam and ekadashi, that is very low. So what it is saying, when you develop the higher taste, you lose interest on low. This is Bhagavad Gita verse Krishna is saying. And this aspect we can apply in many dimensions in our life. People to motivate positively, positive development, personality development, many things we can use these verses in Bhagavad Gita to develop the positive atmosphere in the. So these are the various ways we can control our anger, lust and false ego, and we will be able to progress. We will not be getting into the situation like Daksha is. In future, in subsequent verses we see how Daksha is having the problem, and how the Nandi will come and he will curse again, and so much disturbance happens, right? So to avoid getting into that situation, we need to follow this. One is develop the higher taste. Second thing, nourish your spiritual intelligence, strengthen your spiritual intelligence. These are the two acts. When we do, we will be able to come out of this lust and anger, false ego. I will conclude here. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. So Giritraya, so it's a one name of the Shiva, because he lives in the, Giri means mountains, right? He lives in the Himalaya mountains. That is what I can connect. Daksha is he's an expert. That's what Daksha actually means expert in doing all material activities. So that way you can connect. Yeah, the root cause, the immediate cause, and when you trace back the ultimate root cause, we can. Prabhu, in the 14th chapter, the three modes of material nature is there. I think somewhere it would be there. I can check that. Yeah. But generally, all this, when you start, false ego means you started thinking on the bodily platform, right? When you talk in the false ego bodily platform means I have to enjoy, I have to please my senses, I'm the controller, right? These thoughts will come. When these thoughts will come, the actions will lead to the same thing. When you want to please, I am the enjoyer, you feel. Due to false ego, you feel I am the enjoyer. To enjoy, you will do any act. That is what you are doing, the Daksha is doing. He thinks that, okay, I am the great person. Everyone should respect. Right? That is the act. How that thoughts are coming? Because of the false ego. If you think that I am the soul, you would not think like that. But if you think that I am the enjoyer, that's where your thoughts are coming. The ultimate root cause for all our anarthas is false ego. Yes. Yeah. Hare Krishna.